here has made someone feel uncomfortable during an interaction? Did you realize you're making that person feel uncomfortable in any way? By the end of the speech, listeners will be able to recognize if an individual is uncomfortable. Now, imagine you go into the stack for lunch. After getting your food, you find that there are no open spots left. Instead of leaving, you decide to sit by someone you don't talk to much. While talking to them, you wonder if you are making them feel uncomfortable in any way. According to the writing and speaking coach, Rachel Boehm, there are 5 signs to let you know if you're making that person feel uncomfortable. Baseline shift, nervous energy, poor breathing, avoidance, and evasive word choice. Starting down the line once more, you have to establish a baseline shift with the individual. A baseline shift is when you spend enough time with someone that you are able to understand the way they act. For example, since you already know that person, you already have a rough understanding of them. 3 ways to help better establish a baseline shift are the subject itself, breathing patterns, and pace and pitch of their voice. You can better understand these the better you know the person. Next is nervous energy. Nervous energy is when someone is feeling anxious or in a bad mood. Generally, this energy is transferred to the legs or arms in a kind of flight or fight response. However, running away or fighting you rarely ever happens. It is also against social norms. Not many people just fight to fight. The energy is mostly shown in 3 ways. The first is when the legs bounce, jiggle, kick, stamp, or tap. This means that the person wants to move away from the situation. However, this doesn't necessarily mean a negative thing. It could also mean that the person wants to do something. It all depends on the context and topic of discussion. The second is with clenched fists, tightly crossed arms, drumming of the fingers, or extreme tapping. This generally expresses annoyance or wanting the situation to be over with. And the third is wringing of the hands together, patting of the legs, rubbing the back of the neck, touching or biting the clothes, fingernails, or lips. These actions help suppress any anxiousness or feeling of discomfort that they may have. The next of the 5 signs is poor breathing. Poor breathing is when the person does quick breaths. This reveals stress. If the person you're speaking to has shallow breaths, you will notice stiff, choppy movements and tension in the body and voice. When someone is comfortable with you, communication is easy and it's smooth. A way to help make the person feel more comfortable is by taking deep, slow breaths to show that you're calm. The 4th sign is avoidance. Avoidance is when you turn away from anything that might cause you harm. Physically, socially, professionally, emotionally, or spiritually. Some simple ways to know someone is avoiding you is A, through the eyes, a sign of agreement, and reflected and quoted in the Bible as the window to the soul, as they can be deeply personal. B, orientation, the way someone is facing you. Often the direction of someone's body and feet are a big giveaway. If the person's feet are facing towards the door, but still talking to you, they most likely want to be nice, but want to leave. C, space. If the person appears to be making themselves small, they could be uncomfortable and lack confidence. It is good to take note of what they are doing, either way, for future references. Lastly, blocking, when someone literally puts something between them and you. This often happens when a difficult topic is brought up. This doesn't mean to avoid the topic, but notice what makes them feel uncomfortable and help navigate through it. You can do this by slowing down and speaking in a softer tone. The last sign is evasive word choice. Just like body language, word use can help with better understanding what that person is thinking. Some ways people are evasive are being vague with word choice, such as saying something that means nothing, or circling back to what they just said. Apologizing when not needed and hesitation in answering are also good indications that the individual is uncomfortable. Being evasive doesn't mean that the person is uncomfortable with you, but could mean that they are uncomfortable with the topic that is being talked about. Now, moving back to the example at the beginning. By using the 5 signs, sudden baseline shift, nervous energy, poor breathing, avoidance, and evasive word choice, you can become more confident in knowing that you are not making your friend feel uncomfortable in any way. Thank you.